Hey, good evening, USA, International, Canada, Long Island, aka Strong Island, plus the five spots of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. This is your man and homie, G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator, YouTuber, creator, host with the most, misunderstood lonely nomad, unstoppable independent podcaster, and of course, Queens, New York native, who is also a New York Mets fan from the neck of the woods of Laurelton, Queens, New York. And yes, you now listening, streaming, and watching the 80th episode of the Sports Edition show, Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast. I do apologize for the long delay of the upcoming episodes and stuff like that. So I decided to instead of recording my comedy podcast, I decided to actually, get this out the way as well. So yeah, live and direct from StreamYard and alongside with YouTube. Be sure to go to the YouTube Sports Channel page and grab that subscribe button for me. And also be sure to leave a like if you like the videos, the content. Leave a like. Be sure to share the videos. Be sure to comment on the sports topics in the episodes, and be sure to enable enable alerts so you'll be notified on when I'll be on the air via live stream, recording live stream video podcast episodes and everything else in between. Um yeah. Now the reason why I haven't really been recording the sports podcast right here is because I was waiting on some information in regards to the New York Mets offseason. And I didn't want to come on if I didn't have any sports topics to talk about. So I figured I'll wait this out because everybody's talking about the whole one sort of sweepstakes and and all that stuff. So I wanted to actually wait for some more information. So I am gonna cover some recaps and highlights of the off season, how's it going so far, and all that great stuff in each episode whatsoever. And it's gonna be a combination of the recaps of this year and the off season. Um so yeah. Anyway, all right. So now that I got that out the way, I wanted to actually get into this right here. We got some losses to cover. Actually, two people passed. So let's get into here. The quick side bleacher bar, man. Let's do this. All right. We got two losses that we got to cover before we get to the other sports trending topics and stuff. So let's start off with this though. Frank Howard, a hugely popular giant of a man who single-handedly elevated Washington baseball from the mid 1960s to the early 1970s, has died. The Nationals announced on Monday he was 87. Though Howard never guided the Washington Senators to season, he was an all-star four times. He had two top five finishes in MVP voting and won two home run crowns during his time with the club from 1965 to 71. Howard, who stood 6'7" and weighed more than 250 pounds during his heyday, was apt, was aptly nicknamed the Capital Punisher and the Washington Monument. His mammoth home runs, including a 500-foot shot at RFK Stadium in 1970 only added to his legend. He finished his career with 382 home runs, leading the majors with 44 in 1968 and the American League with 44 in 70. Growing up a baseball fan in Washington, D.C., Frank Howard was my hero. Nationals managing principal owner Mark D. Lerner said in a statement the towering home runs he hit into the stands at RFK Stadium gave him the nickname Capital Punisher. But I'll always remember him as a kind and gentle man. The entire Lerner family would like to offer our thoughts and condolences to family during this difficult time. The world of baseball has truly lost a giant. Um, and this is from MLB, in case anybody's wondering. The world of baseball has truly lost a giant. Howard turned down the chance to play in the NBA. He was a third round draft pick of the Philadelphia Warriors after starring as an All American in baseball and basketball at all. Howard pursued a career in baseball that began with the Dodgers, who signed the right handed hitting outfielder in 1958 and called him up late the season. Howard was a platoon player for much of his tenure with the Dodgers, though he made the most of his. He was named the National League Rookie of the Year in 1960 and helped Los Angeles to a World Series title in 1963. Um, After the 64 season, the Dodgers traded Howard along with Ken McMullen, Phil Ortega, Pete Richard, and Dick Nen to the Senators for John Kennedy, Claude Epstein, no, Claude Olstein, excuse me, and $100,000. Wow. $100,000. Wow. Wow. Okay, let me lower this a bit. Uh, yeah. Once in Washington, Howard became a larger than life figure. His coming out party came in May 1968 when, during a stretch of 20 at bats, Howard blasted 10 home runs. It still stands as the record for most home runs hit in 1 week. End quote. I wish I had like that. I might have made a couple of bucks in the game of baseball, Howard said in a 2018 interview with MLB.com. It was a rare moment for me. Everything fell into place for me. As a hitter, sometimes you get into a groove where you are reading the pitches well. You are seeing the ball well. The started at home on May 12th with home runs in consecutive innings. The first, a solo shot, Detroit's Mickey Lolich, followed by another solo homer the next inning off Fred Lasher. 2 days later, Howard homered twice again, this time at Fenway Park. The next day, he tagged Red Sox starter Jose Santiago for his fifth home run in a 4-day span. From there, it was on to a one-game stopover in Cleveland, where Howard hit two more homers, both off flamethrower Sam McDowell. The Senators then continued to Detroit, where over the next 2 days, Howard went deep 3 times. Growing up in Rockville, Maryland, we lived, Frank Howard said, former Nationals manager Jim Ringelman. He kept baseball relevant in DC during those years. 5 of Howard's 10 home runs that week came against the Tigers, who went on to win the World Series that year. The Senators, meanwhile, finished last in the 10 team American League with a 65-96 record. Damn. He was such in his zone teammate Hank Allen recalled. The pitchers couldn't get him out. Howard's career in Washington ended ahead of the 1972 season when the team relocated to Texas and became known as the Rangers. He played his final season in the majors with the Tigers in 73, then signed with Japan's um, Taihayo Club Lions for the 74 season. Howard was injured in his first game in Japan, however, ending his playing career. After his playing career, Howard found himself in the coaching ranks throughout the 80s and 90s, spending time with the Brewers, Mariners, Yankees, and Devil Rays. He even had 2 stints as a manager with the Padres and Mets in 1981 and 83, respectively, and went a combined 93 to 133. On August 2016, the Nationals added Howard's name to the Ring of Honor at Nationals Park, there on the um, right field facade. Um, Facade near the foul pole, a facade, whatever you pronounce it. Yeah, near the foul pole. Howard's name is displayed alongside those of Jackie Robinson and former Nats manager Frank Robertson. It is proper recognition for a man who had once been the most feared slugger in the game. End quote. I'm not one to live in the past, but I'll tell you what, anytime you have a chance to be on Frank and Jackie Robertson's team, it's a real thrill for me. Howard said at the time, it's nice when someone says, "Welcome to the Ring of Honor." So, SIP to Frank Howard. All right. Um, so we got another pass, and then we got another pass, and then we got a get to. This is even though this is even though this is non-baseball related, but I think I'll have to do that too. Former NFL cornerback DJ Hayden was among 6 people killed in Houston early Saturday morning after a car sped up through a red light and caused a collision with another vehicle. Was 33. Hayden's former University of Houston teammates Zach McMillian and Ralph Aragwu were also killed in the crash, the school confirmed. The driver who ran the red light was also pronounced dead at the scene, according to the Houston Chronicle. Wow. Wow, that's crazy, man. That's crazy, man. Sheesh. Um yeah, that's crazy. Um yeah, so police said 4 people were pronounced dead at the scene and 2 more died after being taken to a local hospital. hospital with life-threatening injuries, police told the Chronicle, while another person was alert and talking with investigators. The University of Houston also said former player Jeffrey Lewis was injured but recovering. A two-time All-Conference USA honoree with Houston, Hayden made national headlines after a collision in practice in 2012 caused a tear in his heart. He was discharged from the hospital later and was selected by the then Oakland Raiders with the 12th overall pick of the 2013 NFL Draft. DJ's courage, perseverance, and dedication to his teammates will be fondly remembered by everyone who knew him. The Raiders, now based in Las Vegas, said Saturday in a statement. The prayers of the entire Raiders nation are with DJ's loved ones at this time. Hayden recorded 328 tackles, 4.5 sacks, 4 interceptions, and forced fumbles in 92 games, 41 starts with the Raiders. 2013 to 16, Detroit Lions. 2017, Jacksonville Jaguars. 2018 to 20, and now the Washington Commanders. 2021. McMillian was an All-American Athlete Conference second team selection at cornerback while playing for the Cougars. From 2010 to 2013, Aragwu played on the offensive line from 2009 to 2013. The entire University of Houston community is heartbroken over the tragic passing of former football student athletes DJ Hayden, Zachary McMillian, and Ralph Aragwu earlier today. And our thoughts and prayers remain with Jeffrey Lewis in his recovery ahead. The school said in a statement, we extend our deepest condolences to their families, friends, and loved ones as we collectively mourn the loss of three individuals who made an indelible impact on each life they touched. Yeah, so sleep in paradise to McMillian, DJ Hayden, and Zachary and Ralph Arawu. All right, so let's now. There's some Mets fans who are on YouTube that was pretty upset about the whole thing with Carlos Mendoza being snubbed. I want to get to that though, man. I want to get to that because this is important actually. Yes. Hang on one second though, man. I want to get to it though. So speaking of Carlos Mendoza, according to Mets Online, and the Mets entered the 2024 season with a clean slate. Steve Cohen finally hired David Stearns as his president of baseball operations, and with that, former Mets manager Buck Showalter, who took the Mets to their first postseason since 2016 and won National League Manager of the Year in 2020. Fired. Rumors swirled that former Brewers manager Craig Counsell would all but join Stearns in New York as the next Met manager. However, he was announced as the Cubs manager, and the Mets then formally introduced former Yankees bench coach Carlos Mendoza as their next manager. Fans didn't think much of the hire. Mendoza would be the fifth manager in Queens in the past 6 years. He was a rookie manager and young. He came from the crosstown rival Yankees. While fans and critics would harp on what could go wrong, Mendoza quickly made it known things would change in Queens, and it has. He brought energy in his first press conference, something that separated him from other rookie and seasoned managers. Something felt different with Mendoza. Players around the league, including Yankees superstar Aaron Judge, praised the Mets for their hiring choice. The players like Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso, and Brandon Nimmo were excited. Mendoza joined a Mets club at a crossing point. They could either stick to the script and be what people wrote them off as, nobodies, or they could shock the world, play the best baseball, and make a run for it. He took a 2023 fourth place 75-87 team and turned them into an 89-73 playoff team who made it to the NLCS round, bested by the possible World Series champions. While the season didn't start out as expected, including a first-time manager, Mendoza never lost the faith. He led an 05 team, a team 11 games under 500 to the playoffs, 2 wins shy of the World Series. How did he do it, you ask? Trust, keeping the faith, and most importantly, an established relationship with his players. That's key. Take, for example, Jose Quintana's start against the Cardinals on April 28th. In the seventh inning of a tied game with 2 outs, Quintana was the game, the longest a Met starter had gone in the season. With Wilson Contreras up, Mendoza took a mound visit, signaling Quintana's day was done. However, after a short discussion on the mound, Mendoza left, and Quintana stayed and struck out Contreras to keep it tied and finish his day. Speaking speaking of post game, Mendoza noted how much respect he had for Quintana and seeing the conviction on his face and his voice. He said, "I'm good. Give it to me." I was like, "All right, that's your hitter." Mendoza became known for managing with his gut and trusting his players, commenting that sometimes it might not work and sometimes it will. But that's part of the game. It's a refreshing change of pace compared to managers of the past who would only rely on data or analytics to listen to their players as people rather than just a number. For that, it made all the difference in a clubhouse. Mendoza also embraced team bond, also the key important thing. While he didn't force team meetings or any of the sorts, leaving those to his players, the spirit of the game is alive and well in Citi Field. While it can't attributed to Mendoza when the playing is good, the vibes are good. It's hard not to correlate. In addition, it's been known the Mets and other clubs have their woes when it comes to clubhouse culture. The 2024 team is a shell of what the Mets were in 2023. Even in 2022, when they had a better record, Mendoza was instilled a positive culture at a critical level in the dugout and clubhouse. The Mets have struggled to find their staple whenever it may be in the office, dugout, at third. However, 2024 showed things are beginning to fall into place. Carlos Mendoza is just another part of the puzzle fitting perfectly together. It's hard to imagine the Mets going on this magical run in 2024 if he were not there. For that, it would be baffling for Mendoza to not only not receive a Manager of the Year nomination, but a win as well. Manager of the Year winners will be, well, yeah. Speaking of being snubbed, man, more Carlos Mendoza news. Let's get into it. I wanna yeah, this is crazy. Speaking of which, man, every YouTuber who's also a New York Mets fan was pretty upset because he did not receive Manager of the Year, and you're not gonna believe who. You're not gonna believe who. You're not gonna believe who received Manager of the Year. Pat Murphy. Ain't that a bitch? All right. Hold on. All right. I know every single YouTuber, including Mets fanatics, were upset because Pat Murphy received Manager of the Year. So, and this is from the folks from Mets Mesmerized online. After firing Buck Showalter, the New York Mets were left searching for their fifth manager, including well, yeah, well, yeah, Carlos Beltran. The popular pick was Craig Counsell, but he went to the Chicago Cubs. After being unable to get Counsell, the Mets hired former New York Yankees bench coach Carlos Mendoza as manager. A relative unknown, Mendoza would set a standard and a new culture for the Mets during the 2024 season. He led the team to 89 wins, a playoff berth, and all the way to Game 6 of the NLCS. That after starting 0-5, as well as 24-35 by June 2nd, and exceeding all expectations. His efforts were good enough to make him a finalist for National League Manager of the Year. He became the second Mets manager in the last 3 years to be up for the award. Showalter won it in 2022 and became the first Mets manager in team history to win it. However, unlike his predecessor, it was not to be for Mendoza, as Pat Murphy of the Milwaukee Brewers took home the award. Showalter joked on MLB Network, "Be careful about winning this award." Oh shit. That I know this is a load of crap too. Murphy, who replaced Council in Milwaukee, led the Brewers to 93 wins and a National League Central Division title. Mendoza and the Mets in the National League Wildcard Series would defeat the Brewers in 3 games. After losing key pieces in the offseason, such as their former manager and Council, and trading ace Corbin Burns, Murphy impressed in his first managerial job since 2015. Mendoza finished third in the voting behind Murphy and Mike Schilt of the San Diego Padres. Mendoza notched 12th place, was notched 12 third place votes, and 1 first place vote. The consensus was that Murphy was on his way to winning the award after the season the Brewers had, as they continued their stretch of success since 2018. Mendoza finishing third will certainly leave some scratching their heads after the 2023 trade deadline. Some saw 2024 as a punt year for the Mets. No, it wasn't, man. Let me say this though, man. What I like about the New York Mets, they didn't punt, they didn't fucking quit. They battled. I watch I watch all the Mets games as I can though on my flat screen TV, not just SNY, but also on Pix, sometimes on Fox, sometimes on ESPN, wherever I can. Like, come on now. Like, how do you like seriously? And I had explained this a while back, episodes ago, because the word punt basically means quit. And they didn't do that. Like, come on, man. Like, that's just straight up bullshit to me. Yeah. Um, yeah, it was not. Listen, man, that shit was so fucking bullshit to me. Um, yeah. So yeah, anyway, and it began that way through the first 2 months. Mendoza turned it around, and the Mets became one of the best teams in baseball until their NLCS defeat. His leadership, authenticity, and trust in his players were a big reason for the Mets' memorable year. Regardless, finishing third doesn't take away the kind of job Mendoza did for the Mets in 2024. Yeah. Yeah, look, I mean, look, even though he didn't win manager of the year, he did turn things around though, man. Like seriously. And so did the Mets players. They turned things around too, which I'm gonna do a separate episode of a comeback that they did. Um, that's pretty dope, man. Anyway, so let's go to let me see what else. Oh, here's some shockers, man. Here's some shockers, man. Unfortunately, Sean Manaea is not coming back. That's a big shocker right there, man. That's a big shocker right there, man. Let's get to that right here. Um, and this is according to MLB. Sean Manaea, one of baseball's top pitchers in the second half of the season, opted out of the $13.5 million option on his contract and became a free agent that the Mets announced Monday. Oof, damn, son. Damn. Damn, man. Well, yeah, so yeah, I guess when you become a free agent, you're no longer on the roster. So that's pretty much what that is. All right. Um the decision comes as little surprise given Manaea's accomplishments during a season that saw him go in six with a 3.47 ERA over 32 starts, demonstrating notable improvement after dropping his arm angle in July. The 32-year-old is likely to seek and receive a multi-year deal on the open market. Manaea must go no, but first Manaea must get there. His opt out decision will likely prompt the Mets to extend him a qualifying offer, which is a 1 year contract worth 21.05 million dollars. Um, I don't know, man. That's just crazy. Um, wow, wow. And don't worry, I ain't going to actually cover. I'm gonna actually cover like the non-tender and the other stuff that went down in some future episodes. So about that. Um, yeah. Um, okay. If Manaea rejects that, which is likely, the Mets would receive draft pick compensation in the event he signs elsewhere. Hmm. At the conclusion of the postseason, Manaea expressed interest, saying, "I love my time here. I love New York. I love the organization. I love all the people here. It remains to be seen if the Mets will be among the clubs willing to commit to Manaea on a multi-year deal, or if they will look elsewhere in free agency. The left-handers opt-out decision does not in any way preclude a return to New York. It simply gives him and his agent Scott Boris a chance to negotiate with all 30 teams. The Mets are seeking multiple starting pitchers on the open market this offseason, with Manaea, Luis Severino, and Quintana all hitting free agency. And I think Luis Severino may have turned down um, an offer already. Those pitchers combined for 37% of the team's innings this season. Manaea is a veteran of 9 major league seasons, spending the first 6 of those with the A's before bouncing to the Padres, Giants, and Mets. He joined New York last offseason on a 2-year, $28 million deal that included his $13.5 million contract option. Yeah, that's wow. Um Agency is a long process. Um, I think it's just, a way of testing out the waters. See see if it's worth it. Um all right. Yeah, here's another shocker. Here's another shocker. Actually, let me see where I put that. Hold on. Here's a shocker. Hang on Yes, Tomas Nido. Yes, Tomas Nido. That's what I was looking for. So, all right. So, in his 3 years with the Cubs, it did not take um Young Go Young Gomes or Young Gomez, however you pronounce it, long to gain respect around the clubhouse and earn trust. The veteran was an influential voice in the room and played a role in the development of a group of Chicago's young players. As the Cubs try to overcome the team-wide issues that that have risen to the surface over the past 6 years, no, excuse me, 6 weeks, the club is searching for areas in need of an upgrade. As impactful as Gomes was behind the scenes, his on-field production diminished to the point of Chicago declining to designate the catcher for assignment on Wednesday morning. The Cubs signed veteran catcher or met Tomas Nido to an MLB deal to assume Gomes' place on the roster. For example, actually not for example, but in quote, it was a tough decision, manager Craig Counsell said. Jan is a great teammate and an important person in the clubhouse, but in the end, we just felt like we had to try to get more production out of a catching spot. That's what kind of instigated the move. Okay. Um, hang on. To Council's point, here is how the Cubs catchers rank offensively in the majors heading into play on Wednesday. So batting average 175, 28th, on base percentage 221, 28th, slugging percentage 258, 29th, on base plus slugging 479. Damn it. 479. Sorry about that. Anyway, yes, where were we? Yes, on base plus slugging 479 and weighted runs created plus 37 28th. The 36-year-old Gomes hit 267 with a 723 OPS in 116 games. Cubs, no, as the Cubs, primary catcher last season while showing off a knack for clutch hitting. 302 average with 2 outs and runners in scoring position while transitioning to the backup role behind Miguel Amaya this year. Gomes hit 154, 179, 242 with 36 strikeouts in 96 plate appearances, 33 games. The Cubs picked up a $6 million player option in Gomes' contract for this season. Ooh. Okay. Hmm. Um, a veteran of 13 MLB seasons, Gomes also experienced a drop off behind the plate this season. Per StatCat, per StatCast, rather, he posted a -3 framing runs, -1 blocks above average, and -4 defensive runs overall. While Cubs pitchers continue to pay Gomes compliments for his game calling and veteran insight, the overall defensive picture was lagging. In Nido, the team is getting a catcher with a solid defensive reputation. End quote. We're just trying to get upgraded to give us more chances to win, Council said. So the whole player for sure matters. The defensive part of it matters. He's an excellent receiver, and that's important. It's the whole package, certainly. Nido, age 30, was released by the Mets on Monday after spending parts of the past 8 seasons in the majors with New York. The catcher hit 229 with a 622 OPS in 32 games this year, which is the second under a 2-year, $3.7 million pack. Very interesting. It is interesting that the Mets upgraded to two catchers actually, um, Francisco Alvarez and Luis Torrens. So most likely these two catchers they're gonna be around. They're gonna be around next year too. So they're not going anywhere. Okay. Um, per Statcast, Nido has posted 2 defensive runs, 3 blocks above average, and is in the 87th percentile in caught stealings above average. End quote. I'm very excited to get to compete with these guys, Nido said on Wednesday. I'll be watching a lot of videos, a lot of watching how they've pitched this year and their history, and just talking to Amaya as well. It's a special group of guys, good pitching, and I'm very excited to be able to handle that staff. Council was not ready to say how the innings might be distributed between Amaya and Nido, but he noted that the new catcher would be using Wednesday and Thursday to dive into the details of Chicago's staff. The man added that it could also help that Nido and the Cubs are hosting the Mets for a 3-game series this coming weekend. In his first full season as the Cubs' top catcher, the 25-year-old Amaya has hit 188, 250, 268 through 52 games. While he has done well in blocking, he runs above average per StatCast. He has struggled to control the running game. Council believes Amaya has the potential to grow into a more complete catcher. He is getting better through the process, Council said. As far as game calling, the receiving, I think Miguel's in a really good place. Throwing has been a struggle a little bit, and I think that's a team thing. Pitchers and Miguel contribute to that. That's certainly an area to improve. Really, it's not arm strength. I think it's more accuracy issues he's had. But he better offensively, and I think there's a good offensive player in there. Sometimes you got to go through this to get there. All right, let's see. The okay, we could talk about Dedniel Nunez. Yeah, let's talk about him. Let's talk about him. For those of you who may not know, um, the Mets bullpen, a source of resilience throughout the season, will need to recover from yet another. Right-hander Dedniel Nunez is done for the season due to a strained flexor tendon in his right arm. Nunez received a rich plasma injection in the tendon and hope to avoid surgery, but the Mets won't know how viable that might be until his body has time to respond to the PRP shot. End quote. Everything is on the table, but right now we thought that was the best route to go with the injection here. Manager Carlos Mendoza said, hopefully that works, and then we don't have to worry about surgery, but too early to tell. Nunez had been a revelation for the Mets in the middle of the season, producing a 2.00 ERA with 35 strikeouts over 27 innings from May 28th through July 23rd. But he went on the injured list shortly thereafter with a right pronator strain. Spent a month there, then returned for a single appearance 24th. Afterward, Nunez complained to team officials that he was opting another examination and trip to the IL injured list. He subsequently president of baseball Stearns referred to as a strain of the tendon. a PRP shot was the recommended treatment. Said he's been huge for us, and we we had hopes that we were going to get him back, and that's not the case. With Nunez done for the year, the Mets will continue to rely on a mix of Phil Maton, Reed Garrett, Danny Young, Jose Buto, and others to set up closer Edwin Diaz. Um, yeah. Um, I'll talk about the opt out for Phil Maton in a future episode. And hold on a sec. So let me see. Come on. All right. Some more there's actually some good news about Dedniel Nunez. There's some good news here. So let me just find that story. Sorry. All right. Here's some good news about Danielle Nunez. Hold on one sec. All right. Let me see. Yes, here we go. So this is according to Yahoo Sports. Um, and of course, Wardy NYM from YouTube actually talked about this on his channel. Mets reliever Dedniel Nunez continues to progress well from a strained right flexor tendon he suffered in August that ended his season, per MLB's Anthony DiComo. Yes, a Dominican Republic native will work out with Tigres del Licey of the Dominican Professional Baseball League, a winter league consisting of 6 teams, reports DeComo. If all goes well, he could even make a winter ball cameo. The right-hander got a PRP injection in September as the reliever hoped to avoid surgery, which it appears he has done successfully. Following the injection, though, surgery was still on the table as his body needed time to respond. After the season ended in late October, President of Baseball Operations David Stearns provided an update on Nunez, saying that the 28-year-old had been progressing well, which was a good sign. The Mets anticipated Nunez getting back on the mound in November, and he would have a chance at a normal offseason program. Perhaps forgotten is the stellar season that Nunez had in his first taste of majors. In 35 innings, the right-hander had a 2.31 ERA, 0.91 WHIP. with 48 strikeouts to just 8 walks. He quickly ascended toward the top of New York's bullpen and regularly pitched in high leverage situations before going down with an injury. So that's good news on Dedniel Nunez. That's good news, man. And yes, he is going to avoid surgery. So there you go. There you go right there. Let's see. Let's see what else we gotta talk about. And yes, I did talk a little bit of all season talks. Of course, yeah. So we gotta do like a I'm gonna do a recap of the Subway Series 2024 and the changes that's going to happen in 2025. I'll get to that as topic of the day. All right, so this is this is the thing, man. I have to say, after you know, I want to actually. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. So let's see. Let's see. Let's see. All right. So, and this is from EA. Off Vientos hit a pair of runners and the New York Mets held off a fury rally by the AL East leading New York Yankees for a 9-7 win Tuesday night in the first Subway Series game of and their 11th victory in 14 games. Vientos led off the second and fourth innings with home run. AL Cy Young Award winner Garrett Cole for the first multi-homer game of his career. He became the 12th Mets player with at least 2 long balls in a Subway Series. End quote. It feels good to hit 2 off Joe Schmo, Vientos said with a grin. Garrett Cole, great pitcher. Series game, it's sick to do it in this game, in this environment for sure. Vientos had a chance to match Francisco Lindor's Francisco Lindor's 3-homer game against the Yankees on September 12th, 2021, but hit into a fielder's choice in the 5th and struck out in the 7th. Vientos wrested the starting third base job from Brett Beatty by hitting with 5 homers in his first 66 at bats. He hit 211 with 1 homer in 12 games from June 2nd through the 16th, but his batting average is 333 with 4 homers in his last 6 games. Seems like the league was adjusting to him, manager Carlos Mendoza said. But his ability to make adjustments that quick, that's the key at this level. You are going to go through ups and downs. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting because it's interesting. I don't know if anybody remembers, but Mark Vientos was working with Francisco Lindor on how to be a good third baseman, and I have to say he's a better third baseman, better than Brett Beatty. I hate to say it, but it's true. He 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 works on the execution of the plays, and the one play I would the one play there's so many good plays that Marvientos does though, man. It's just too many to name right now. Yeah, it's yeah. So yeah. So Harrison Bader, unfortunately, he's not going to be back. And Brandon Nimmo also homered off Cole on fastballs clocked at 91 and 93 miles per hour, respectively. Cole hit 99 miles per hour, but threw 28 pitches in the first inning of his second start of the season. After being sidelined by right elbow inflammation in spring training, he gave up at least 4 homers and recorded no strikeouts for the second time in 302 career starts. Disappointing. I didn't really give us a good chance to win tonight. Cole said, "I didn't execute enough pitches, just kind of dug us a hole." The 4 homers by the Mets were one shy of their single game record against the Yankees set at Yankee Stadium on August 2018. What we've been doing for the past couple of weeks, month has been month has been awesome, and I'm excited to show up to the ballpark every day, Viento said. Dedniel Nunez tossed 2 and 2/3 innings of one hit ball in relief of starter David Peterson as the Mets improved 38-39. Peterson allowed 1 run, walked 5, and struck out 8 over 4 and 1/3 innings. He wriggled out of a bases loaded, non out jam in the first and limited the Yankees to 1 in 14 plate appearances with a runner on base. We put him on the tropes in the first inning, but after that, says Soto, who homered against Peterson 5th inning. Aaron Judge added RBI double in the 7th before the Yankees scored 5 times in the on a pinch hit single by Austin Wells and Judge's 7th career grand slam. Reed Garrett retired Gleyber Torres on a ground out and then tossed a 1-2-3 ninth in a non-safe situation. Edwin Diaz began a 10-game suspension during Tuesday after being injected against the Chicago Cubs on Sunday. Foreign substance on hand. I talked about it and talked about it episodes ago. The Yankees 52-29 have won just one of their last 6 series. They reached the midway point of the season with with at least 50 wins for the 16th time since the schedule expanded to 162 games in 1960. JD Davis, who played for the Mets from 2019 to 22 and was acquired by the Yankees from Oakland on Sunday, went 0 for 4, no, 0 for 3 in his debut. Say hey. The teams gathered along their baselines during a pregame video tribute and moment of silence in honor of Willie Mays. Well, shit. Who died last week at 93. Mays played his final 2 seasons with the Mets and had his number retired by the team in 2022. All right. Trainer's room. The game after fouling a pitch off his back leg in the 3rd inning. Bickford was visited by a trainer in the 5th when he took a Francisco Alvarez comebacker off his left hand. Mets right fielder Starling Marte bone bruise on right right knee was placed on the 15-day injured list, retroactive to Sunday. He will be shut down from baseball activity for 2 weeks and is expected to miss at least a month. Outfielder Ben Gamel was recalled from AAA Syracuse in corresponding transaction. Right-handed pitcher Kodai Singer, right shoulder, should begin a rehab assignment after throwing 5 batting practice Thursday. Right-handed pitcher Sean Reed Foley, right shoulder, who went on the 15-day injured list on Saturday, retroactive to June 20th, was diagnosed with an impingement and could return after the minimum stay on the shelf. And yeah, the first Subway Series of the season ends Wednesday when Mets left-handed pitcher Sean Manaea, 4-3, 4.16 ERA, opposes rookie Yankees right-handed pitcher Luis Gil, 9-2, 2.77. So yeah. And let's see. Let's see. Okay. So what we have here. Jeff McNeil kept up his sudden power surge with a 2-run homer that snapped a 6-inning tie, and the New York Mets held off the New York Yankees 3-2 on Tuesday night in their Subway Series opener. With both teams in playoff position, 6 and 5 relievers combined on a 5-hitter before a sellout crowd of 47,453 at Yankee Stadium as the Mets 52-48 matched their season high of 4 games over 500. Under rookie manager Carlos Mendoza, who spent the previous 4 years as the Yankee coach, the Mets are 3-0 against their crosstown rivals, including a 2-game sweep at Citi Field last month. It's a really good team. It's a really good team win reliever. Diekman worked a hitless ninth for his 4th save. Hold up. Yeah, his 4th save, subbing for Edwin Diaz because the star closer was 28 pitch outing Monday. After walking Juan Soto with 1 out, the veteran lefty froze Aaron Judge with a 96 miles per hour fastball on the inside corner for a called 3rd strike, then retired rookie Rice on a game-ending grounder. He showed us a lot right here. He showed us a lot. Mets had walked Judge his first 4 times up, once internationally, but the Yankees couldn't capitalize. I know how hot he is right now, Quintana said. Of the 19 pitches Judge saw, the only 4 in the strike zone were thrown by Diekman in the 9th. The last heater was spotted perfectly, Diekman said. I just challenged him and made quality pitch. Judge insisted he wasn't frustrated by the Mets' approach. I think they are just trying to be a little careful, and you just got to pass the baton to the next guy, he said. It's part of it. It's a team game. Even if I went 4 for 4 today, we still might not win. So it's just about if I get a pitch to hit, I've got to do some damage on it. Gleyber Torres homered early, and Alex Verdugo had an RBI double for the scuffling Yankees. Rookie right-hander Luis Gil struck out innings, 5 solid innings, yielding his only run when he plunked Francisco Lindor with a bases-loaded pitch in the fifth. The score was 1-1 when Pete Alonso greeted Michael Tonkin, 3-4, cut twice by the Mets early the season with a leadoff double in the sixth. 1 out later, McNeil his ninth home run of the year, fourth in 5 games since the All-Star break, to put the Mets ahead for good. More confident, I feel like my swing is right where it needs to be, McNeil said. I feel a lot better. I feel like myself. I'm swinging the bat freely. I'm trying to get a good pitch I can drive. After recovering from a fever last weekend, Quintana permitted 1 run and 3 hits over 5 innings. In his first start since the break, he struck out 6 and walked 5. It was another feel-good win for the sleep-deprived Mets, who arrived home in hours Tuesday morning after their flight from Miami was delayed. We've had travel days before, McNeil said. We were all prepared, and we showed it out there. All right, trainer's room. Rookie right-handed pitcher Christian Scott was placed on the 15-day injured list with a sprained ulnar collateral ligament in his pitching elbow. Mendoza says Scott will be examined by multiple doctors before it's determined how much time he could miss. Right-handed pitcher Sean Reed Foley shoulder impingement faced hitters Monday and hoped to make a rehab appearance Thursday with High A Brooklyn. Okay, Yankees outfielder Jason Dominguez, oblique strain, took live batting practice Monday at the team's complex and is headed to Triple A Scranton Wilkes Barre to ramp up. He could be playing games within the week, so he's getting close, manager Aaron Boone said. Up next, Yankees ace Garrett Cole, 3-1, 4.60 ERA, starts Wednesday night against left-handed pitcher Sean Manaea, 6-4, 3.73 as the Mets try to sweep the season series. Cole was tagged by the Mets for 6 runs and 7 hits, including 4 homers over 4 innings, June 25th at Citi Field in his second start of the season after returning from an elbow injury. All right, let's see. Yeah, there's more. There's more. All right, so according to ESPN, Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor, and Tyrone Taylor homered off Garrett Cole. Lindor added a 3-run shot against the bullpen, and the New York Mets routed the Yankees 12-3 on Wednesday night to sweep the season Subway Series 2024 for the first time since 2013. Lindor hit a 2-run drive left-handed against Cole and connected right-handed off Caleb Ferguson for a second, no, so for a season high 5 RBI and his 18th multi-homer game, his third this year. Lindor has 21 homers and 60 RBIs. Mark Vientos went deep against Tim Hill in a 5-run eighth as the Yankees allowed 4 or more homers for the third time in 5 games. The Mets finished 4-0 against the Yankees this year, matching their sweep in 2013 and outscored them 36-34. The Mets improved to 29-13 after a 24-35 start. It's great winning. I love winning. The vibes are completely different than when we were losing. Right now, we understand that we have a good team and that we have great players and great people in this clubhouse, and we're playing for each other. The Yankees 60-44 are 10-22 following a 50-22 start and 1-8-2 in their last 11 series after opening 17 3-2. They have yielded 34 homers over 18 games in July and gave up 5 in a game for the first time in 2 years. We're getting our teeth kicked in, Manager Aaron Boone said. Oh shit. Clearly frustrated during a post-game news conference in which he used a pair of profanities and ended by saying sorry for using the S word. The Yankees were 4 for 36 with runners in scoring position against the Mets this year. We can't make excuses, can't point fingers. Aaron Judge said, it just comes we're doing on the field, and it's not great. And it's not great right now. Sean Manaea gave up Gleyber Torres' lead of homer in the first and Juan Soto's 26 home run in the third. But the Mets 53-48 overcame 1-0 and 2-1 deficits and moved 5 games over 500 for the first time since they were 14-9 in April 2023. Cole 3-2 allowed 6 runs and 8 hits in 5 and 2/3 innings, raising his ERA to 5.40. The reigning AL Cy Young Award winner has given up 7 home runs with an 11.17 ERA in a pair of starts against the Mets and 2 homers with a 3.20 ERA in his other 5 outings. Taylor hit a tying homer in the third, Alonso a 2-run shot in the fourth, and Lindor a 2-run drive in the fifth among his 3 hits. Taylor chased Cole with his third hit, an RBI single in the sixth that caused fans to boo the Yankees. Boo the Yankees ace when he walked to the dugout. Taylor a sprawling backhand catch in center field that robbed in center field that robbed Alex Verdugo of a hit leading off the bottom half. With the Mets ahead 5-2, Adam Ottavino, who's no longer on the team, was 2-2. Got Anthony Volpe to ground out into an inning-ending force out with the bases loaded in the fifth. Manaea gave up 2 runs, 3 hits, and 4 walks in 4 and 2 innings. The season high crowd of 48,760 was the Yankees' 14th sellout, one shy of their 2023 total. Torres restored to the top of the batting order for the first time since April 9th, hit his first career leadoff homer. Soto made a leaping catch to rob Jeff McNeil at the top right field wall for the final out of the second. McNeil had homered in his previous two games, including a tie-breaking lifted the Mets to a 3-2 win Tuesday. Left early, Yankees pitching coach Matt Blake left before the start of the game when his wife went into labor for the delivery of their first child. Draft: the Mets agreed to a minor league contract with Oklahoma State outfielder Carson Bench, the 19th overall pick in the amateur draft. Trainer's room: Mets rookie right-handed pitcher Christian Scott won't throw for 2 weeks, but is expected to pitch again this season after an MRI of his ailing right elbow did not show a severe injury. Right-handed pitcher Sean Reed Foley's shoulder impingement was scratched from a rehab appearance Thursday with a high A Brooklyn and instead will throw batting practice Sunday. Former center fielder Harrison Bader rolled his right ankle when he was caught stealing in the ninth inning Tuesday and is day to day. An MRI showed no structural damage and he left the clubhouse wearing a boot. The Yankees, it remains unclear whether DH Giancarlo Stanton strained left hamstring, will be activated in Boston this weekend. Up next, of course, Mets right-handed pitcher Luis Severino, 7-3 starts Thursday night homestand opener against Atlanta. Left-handed pitcher Chris Sale, 13-3, who has won 3 straight starts and 5 of 6. Yankees left-handed pitcher Nestor Cortez, 4-9, starts Friday's series. Boston and right-handed pitcher Brian Bello, 10-5, will be on the mound for the Red Sox. Cortez is 4-4, with 0.48 ERA at home and 0.05 with a 6.04 ERA on the road. Let's see. Hang on a second here. So, yes, there's going to be some big changes to the Subway Series for 2025. That's going to be the all right, so we're going to get into it right here. So here's what's happening according to Sports Illustrated. The New York Yankees 2025 MLB MLB regular season schedule was released on Thursday, and perhaps the most notable change compared to recent years is that their Subway Series with the New York Mets has been expanded to 6 games as opposed to 4. Now, 2025 will mark the first season where the two New York squads are slated to play 6 games no, excuse me, 6 times since 2021, 2023, and 2024. The Subway Series has had 2 games played at Citi Field and another Yankee Stadium. Another note about the 2025 Subway Series is that the second 3-game series will start on the 4th of July at Citi Field, adding to the buzz that New York City already experiences on Independence Day. The first series will be at Yankee Stadium from May 16th to the 18th, with the second slate starting on July 4th and continuing through July 6th. The Subway Series has been evenly match in recent years, aside from when the Mets took 4 games out of 6 from the Yankees in 2021. The teams have split the series in every season since 2017, when the Yankees swept the Mets. However, it remains to be seen how the 2024 Subway Series would shake out, because its second leg Yankee Stadium on July 23rd to the 24th. Yankees fans will surely remember that the Mets won both games at Citi Field last month by scores of 9-7 and 12-2, respectively. An additional noteworthy aspect of the Yankees' 2025 schedule is that they opened the season with an series at home against the Milwaukee Brewers on March 27th. The New York will face the Boston Red Sox for the first time in 2025 at Yankee Stadium from June 6th to the 8th. They'll then have a series against the Red Sox from June 13th to the 15th, and again from September 12th to the 14th, before playing Boston at home one final time from August 21st to 4th. The Yankees will also face the Baltimore Orioles in 7 of their last 10 games of the 2025 regular season. While thinking about next season's schedule is exciting, the Yankees will have a lot more they want to accomplish. Okay, let me see. What does it say about the Mets? Okay, so all right, Subway Series. Um, Schedule change for the New York Mets. Okay, let's take a look here. Hang on a second here. All right, so New York Mets 2025 schedule. All right, so here's what's happening here. According to Yahoo Sports, it is time for Mets fans to plan ahead. Major League Baseball announced its 2025 schedule Thursday, and the Mets will open their season in a warm climate against the Astros on March 27th in Houston. These are the biggest highlights and dates to circle for the Mets during the 2025 season. And Mets opening day 2025 versus Houston Astros. Okay. Unlike this season when the Mets had their opening day at Citi Field pushed back one day due to rain, they won't have to worry about their first 6 games. No, yes, their first 6 games of the season. The Mets open with a 3-game series against the Astros beginning March 27th and with a built-in off day on March 28th. They remain down south with a 3-game series against the Miami Marlins beginning March 31st. Home opener interleague series versus Blue Jays. The Mets' first games at Citi Field in 2025 come against the Blue Jays on April 4th to the 6th. Then they will face the Marlins for the second time early on, capping a 6-game homestand on April 6th to the 9th. Here's when the Mets play the Phillies. The Mets' 2 home series against the Phillies will both come during the week. They first face their NL East rivals at home on April 21st through the 23rd. And then again, August 25th through the 20th. So that's 3 games. The Mets are on the road in Philadelphia for a 3-game weekend series, June 20th to the 22nd, before their final matchup, Citizens Bank Park, across 4. I'm sorry about that, folks. I don't know what the hell happened here. Let's get rid of that. Sorry about that. Where was I? Yes. Yes, so the Mets 2 home series against the Phillies will both come during the week. The first face their NL East rivals at home on April 21st to the 23rd. That's 3 games. And then again, August 25th through the 27th. The Mets are on the road in Philadelphia for a 3-game weekend series, June 20th through the 22nd, before their final matchup at Citizens Bank Park across 4 games, September 8th through the 11th. Subway Series 2025, 6 games and a holiday. After the Mets rivalry matchups with the Yankees were limited to 2 games in each ballpark across the last 3 seasons, the Subway Series will return to being played across 2 series in 2025. Both will be weekend series this time around. The Mets will travel to Yankee Stadium May 16th to the 18th before welcoming the Yankees to Citi Field on the 4th of July through the 6th. Mets versus Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers. Every time the Mets face off against the Dodgers, it's a highly anticipated matchup. The intrigue has ratcheted up with the rivals of Shohei Ohtani and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. The Mets will face the Dodgers from May 23rd to the 25th at Citi Field. A tough month with Braves, Dodgers, and Phillies. The month of June could be an important one for the Mets in 2025 in the final 2 weeks. They travel to face the Braves on June 17th to the 19th before hosting them for a 4-game series 1 week later, June the 23rd to the 26th. The month also includes road matchups with the Dodgers and Phillies. And the final series of 2025 is on the road. If the playoff push comes down to the final week for the Mets in 2025, their fate will be decided on the road. The Mets finish with 3 games against the Cubs at Wrigley Field on September 23rd to the 25th, and their 3-game finale against the Marlins from September 26th to the 28th. So mark your calendars on those dates that I just mentioned, and that'll be a wrap. yes, that'll be a wrap for this episode right here. I do actually appreciate every single one of you who actually took the time to actually listen to this. Um, this is gonna be stream choices on the go. Let's get into it right here, right now, as we wrap up this show. All right. Um, like I said, don't worry. I will be covering like some more off seasons talks as far as like the non-tender and everything else into details as far as who got dropped um and yeah, so there you go. All right, stream choices on the go, man. Let's go. All right, make sure you follow Excellent Fun Podcast on Threads, along with my other podcast shows that I do, which is Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast, which is the entertainment review show that I do, and my comedy Off the Meat Rat Change New York Avenue podcast. Of course, be sure to follow that, as well as Instagram. The usernames are the same as it is on Instagram, so everything is in the description. If you take a look at the description, everything is there. Make sure you follow your host with the most, G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York. If you go to the link in bio, you're gonna see a whole bunch of stream platforms. As I gather, so make sure you go to the Linktree link, and you're gonna see a whole bunch. You're gonna see a whole bunch of stream platforms. So don't worry, I'm gonna go over it with y'all. So starting with Audible, Odyssey, Amazon Music, Breaker, Bullhorn FM, Castbox FM, Deezer, Listen Notes, Moon FM Podcast, Overhaul FM Podcast, Player FM, Pocket Cast, Podfriend, Podhound, Podo Polo, Podorama, Podcast Index, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Podverse, Podcast Guru, Podvine, Snip, Spotify, and the newly added, formerly known as Anchor and Spotify, which is Spotify for Creators, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Fountain, Radio Public, iHeartRadio, the number one app where you can listen to music, radio, and podcasts for free. You don't need a credit card or debit card to download iHeartRadio. All you need to do is follow and subscribe to Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast, my sports edition show on iHeartRadio, and of course, do the same for YouTube. Make sure you grab that subscribe button for me on the YouTube Sports channel page and add the podcast to your playlist. That way, you'll be able to listen to it while you are driving to work or coming from work or other destinations. And be sure to leave a like and a comment. Tell me how you feel about the sports topics that's covered in this episode and previous episodes. And by the way, if you miss any episodes whatsoever, don't worry. Everything's all there. You can catch up. You can catch up to the episodes. I will be doing more of these sports podcasts as well. I will try to do, I'll try to record back-to-back episodes tomorrow, depending on how much energy I have left. And also be sure to listen, stream, and be sure to watch. Um, be sure to share the video, tell a friend to another friend, enable alerts so you'll be reminded on the new episodes, including live stream video podcast recordings as well. And of course, be sure to be sure to spread the word. It's important. And like I said, if you missed out on the episodes, be sure to catch up. And of course, on every streaming platforms, including YouTube, wherever you listen and get your podcast. All right. And don't forget to share the Linktree link with excellent fun, vibrant talks pod. Be sure to be sure to be sure to share it with your husbands, your wives, your boyfriends, girlfriends, people you're cool with from work who's also into sports. There are also near Mets fanatics out there. And also I want to recommend some sports podcasts that's also on YouTube. Let me just run down some stuff here. All right, so YouTube channels that's also covering the New York Mets. I want to start off with hang on a second here. Start off with hang on a second here. Yeah, I want to start off with some YouTube channels that I want to recommend. So of course, be sure to subscribe to this to the YouTube sports channels that's actually covering the New York Mets. Digging Weekly and Digging Deep podcast, Cup of Mets, Mets Therapy, um, Wardy NYM, a show about the New York Mets, Mets Fix, first time listener, long time caller, um, Meet at the Apple, New York Mets podcast, Till Mets Do His Part. And also be sure to tune into Ryan Finkelstein's Locked On Mets podcast. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the Locked On Sports New York YouTube channel page, where Chris Schubert is the host for Locked On Mets postcast and the New York Jets, alongside with the other guy. I forget his name though, but he's going to be covering the New York Yankees, the New York Giants, and of course the newly added New York Knicks postcast. I don't know who's hosting that, but you check it out for yourself. Be sure to subscribe to that channel. Anthony Rivera's Subway to Shade, one of my favorites, and be sure to subscribe to CP's Mets and Knicks YouTube channel, where he has the True Mets Talk podcast, True Knicks Talk podcast. Of course, live streams, which includes Mets Hot Stove, and of course, and other podcasts that he does with Rob, who's also a New York Mets fan as well. Of course, subscribe to his YouTube channel page as well. Talking Mets with Rob. And he did this to me podcast, which I didn't even know that they cover baseball too. Of course, be sure to subscribe to Just Baseball Show for baseball fans. Mets Central. Be sure to also subscribe to Metcast by Ray, who also covers the New York Mets as well. Shea Station with Jolly Olive and Jerry Blevins. Be sure to subscribe to the Mets Up podcast, Subway Sports Talk. Subscribe to Mets podcast. We gotta believe the Sick podcast, Mets Magic with Jake Brown. Empire State of Baseball podcast. Sometimes they all cover the Mets as well. All Things Mets Talk. Filthy Sports. No, I don't. Hold on, that's John Campier. By the way, that's something else actually. But yeah, anything non-baseball related, I don't want to forget is Filthy Sports by John Campier, who's also the movie guy from his show, um the John Campier Show podcast. And also Angel Reese's podcast, Unapologetically Angel. Be sure to subscribe to that. Um Unpopular Opinion Sports, Sports Talk Nation, Dead End Sports, Locked On Sports Today podcast 24/7, stories in the NFL and NBA, MLB, NHL, and NCAA. Mayday with Trevor May, of course, and other non-baseball, Ringer NBA, and why am I a Mets fan? Future Flushing, Locked On New York Giants Post, um, NFL Good Morning Football, and the TV version, NFL Good Morning Football, overtime on my 9 at 12 p.m. on the weekdays. Check your local listings. You can even check out their podcast as well. And you know I'm right podcast, talking baseball, the Mets pod, Mets Weekly, Rico Bronya, by Evan Roberts, from WFAN on YouTube. You can subscribe over there, and of course, National League Town, a Mets podcast. All right, and let me see if I forgotten anything whatsoever. Yes, Shays and Sons podcast. Don't forget to tune into that as well. Let me make sure. Yes, the Call Up, an MLB prospect podcast, Top Bunk Sports, um, Subway Sports Talk podcast. Let's see. I think that's it, man. I think that's it, man. So, um, I want to say thank you for taking the time to rock with me in the 80th episode. I'm your man G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator. Thank you very much for listening and hearing me out on the sports topics in this episode. If you like this episode, you can leave a comment on there, and tell me how you feel. Tell me how you feel about the changes to the Mets schedule in 20, as far as like the Subway series next year. Do you think it's a good thing that they made these changes? So um so comment down below, man, and express yourself on how you feel. Um and yes, remember, the grind doesn't stop. Hard work pays off. If you want something, you have to be on your P's and Q's. That gets you into that gets you You have to be on your P's and Q's and earn it, because it's not going to be given to you on a fucking silver platter. The next thing here is to find your niche. Be on your P's and Q's creatively, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. That gets you into your zone alongside with tunnel vision. All right. And everybody's journey is different. So there's no manual on how to go on with your journey and path. All right. And and also never give up on your goals and dreams. Don't let anybody stop you from doing what you got to do to make yourself happy. All right. And yeah. So it's not a matter of whether you win or lose. It's how you play the game. All right. I'm up out of here. Peace and one love. I'll be back next time for another episode and maybe back to back, depending on how I feel. So take care of yourselves, and I hope y'all enjoy your Thanksgiving and everything else. Happy Thanksgiving in advance. So peace out, man. Good night, everybody.